What's up, everybody? It's your man right here, the one and only, that beautiful Rhode Island Red Rooster, one of the original road warlords, and as always, bring you the knowledge and drop the science in this industry of what we call trucking, okay? I'm doing this particular video to speak upon AB5 and to also speak upon the PRO Act, right? This AB5 and the PRO Act. As we see, you know, the AB5 in California has been passed, and so they had made, the thing is that it was a last-minute decision where they said that trucking was going to be exempt, and so now they had the appellate, the case went to appellate court, and they ruled that where trucking is now included in the AB5, and also they have the PRO Act, right? They had the PRO Act and stuff that was stemmed up back in February, which is now in the House of Congress now, which they are looking to see if it can be passed and stuff. I mean, that's going to take a little bit more time because it has to be passed by the House and the Senate, and so right now it's in the in the House, and if it passes in the House and stuff, they have to go for a Senate. If it passes in the Senate, then it'll be implemented into law and stuff. And so, to make a long story short about what AB5 is and what the PRO Act is that it is pretty much ending the misclassification of what you declare yourself and stuff, man, in a job. In other words, if you're an independent contractor, and stuff, right, then you cannot operate your business. You can't operate your business and stuff being leased on to someone. You can't be leased anymore and stuff. You either have to be an employee of a company, or you either have to be your own entity and stuff. And so, there's no more lease program and stuff, in other words. And so, my stance on AB5 and the PRO Act and stuff is that I am for it. And stuff. And so, I'm issuing this challenge to anyone who's against AB5 and who is against the PRO Act. My contact information is on my page and stuff. You can leave the comments and stuff up there. And all I say and stuff is that, let your points be legitimate. Let your points be legitimate and stuff. If you are against AB5, if you are against the PRO Act, then, I'm willing to challenge and debate anybody on the issue because, again, I'm for it. And so, to give my stance and to give my history about why I'm for AB5, why I'm for the PRO Act, is because me also being a owned operator that's leased on with a company. In my 13 years, I've been a truck driver and stuff for over 19 years, and I've been a truck driver for over 19 years and stuff. And so, 13 of those years and stuff, I've been a owned operator, and I've been an owned operator in a lease program. And so, I've just seen it's more stories of failure than it has been a success and stuff. And so, it's a temporary solution if a person is trying to move from becoming, if they get into a lease program and stuff, and ultimately if your goal is to become an owned operator and stuff, have your own authority, that sort of thing, then stuff, then it's definitely stuff based upon the paperwork or based upon the setup of it, that it's definitely a way and stuff, man, for you to get familiarized with the industry and how it works, the comes and goes, so on and so forth, but honestly, it doesn't teach you any of that. The only thing it's doing and stuff, is it's just you're a company driver. You're a company driver because the laws, rules, regulation, policies, and procedures, you're binded by that. As a person that's being an owned operator, you don't have any choices. You're pretty much a company driver, and the only choice that you have is to say no. That's it. But even then, you can still be penalized or whatever. A lot of these companies will say such thing as non-forced dispatch. They'll say non-forced dispatch and stuff. Which again is something that I can argue and say that okay, yeah, it's non-forced dispatch, but at the same time, these are people that are finding loads. They're finding loads and stuff, and they're finding loads for you. You don't have the ability to find freight for yourself and say that, well, okay, me being under these guys' authority and stuff like that, you still have to, you still have to tote the note of stuff as a company driver. Whatever loads and stuff that they have, they're going to offer it to you at a certain rate. And, if things don't work out for you, you just turn it down. Then what they're saying is that, well, okay, we can terminate your contract. We can terminate your contract and stuff, as being a lease operator, right? Or as being a contractor. We can terminate your we terminate the lease and stuff, by something as simple as that. It's just the comings and goings and stuff about the business. It's not, a lot of people don't understand a lot of fees that they're being charged. A lot of fees that they're being charged and stuff, on their paychecks. Those that are lease drivers and stuff, they don't understand what the expenses are. A lot of people don't know what a 2290 is. They don't know what a 2290 is and stuff. They don't know, the terminologies and stuff, man, that are being used on their settlements. It's like they're calling settlements every Friday, and they're having them to have to explain, what are these expenses, so on and so forth, when it was laid out to them and stuff, in one term that, well, okay, I was told that this is how much I was going to make a week after expenses, and then, I get my settlement, and here I am in the hole and stuff, constantly. And so, I challenge a lot of people and stuff, to go and look at the carriers and say, well, what's your failure to success ratio? How many people are here that are actually making a consistent settlement based upon what you're saying and stuff? This premise is based upon somebody saying, okay, you're gonna be walking away and stuff with $2,000 or $2,500 a week because we're guaranteeing you this, that, or whatever. And then you get your settlements and you're in the hole. I mean, you're in the hole so much and stuff, man, that again, your contract is being terminated. So there's a lack of understanding about learning the industry itself and stuff. And so, those that have these lease programs aren't telling people about the business. They're not telling them about the comings and goings, about how business and stuff actually works. They don't have, as a contractor, you don't have the ability to procure money for yourself. It's like whatever that they have, it's either take it or leave it. You can't say, well, all right, me who has a binding contract with you would say that, well, okay, this is how much money, this is what I owe you and stuff, if I decide to find a load for myself, for instance, if there's no freight out here today, if there's no freight out here today and stuff, then, you don't have the ability, even though you being lease contracting and stuff, you don't have the ability to look for freight and stuff, just as they have the ability to look for freight, to see if you can find something and stuff, to keep things moving or put you in a better area. Again, you don't have that understanding, nor are they telling you about, the ability of finding your own freight. People don't understand what MC numbers are and DOT numbers. They don't understand these things. So, they don't understand these things because you're pretty much in a company driver. You're pretty much in a company driver position. So if you're in a company driver position, just be a company driver, is what I'm saying. You're still under the laws, rules, regulation, policy, and procedure. Then that's the way you need to stay a company driver. But with a lot of these lease programs and stuff, man, they have just pretty much exploited. Numerous rounds of people and stuff that, even to this day, those that are in the programs now and stuff are being exploited. They can't answer simple questions about things and stuff that go on in business. They can't answer these things and stuff, and yet they just open up the doors and say, well, hey man, you know what, you can get this truck zero money down. You get this truck for zero money down, we guarantee you these type of miles and stuff, so on and so forth. And then, like I said, you get your settlement on Friday, you're sitting over here $500, $600, $700, $800 in the negative. And you have no way of recouping. Because, if you understand the business platform and stuff and how, and how money and stuff is made, it's impossible. And I give you a case in point, right? I give you a case in point. Okay, there was a company out here that's advertised that they're paying $1.50 a mile. they're paying $1.50 a mile and stuff. And so, you know, the next question is that some people say, well, fuel surcharge. A lot of people don't even know fuel surcharge and how that works and stuff. You know, again, that's just something in the program that they don't tell you about. They don't tell you about. It's something that you have to figure out and stuff, you know, later on and stuff. If it's not individuals like me and many others stuff that are on social media platforms and stuff teaching you how to operate your business. You know, there's not people from the inside that's teaching you how to operate your business and stuff as a lease driver. You know, you have to get up here on social media and they have to give you the breakdown and stuff about what are the certain terminologies and stuff that's being used in the industry. So again, the example is a company that's talking about paying you $1,500. No, they're talking about paying you $1.50 a mile, right? $1.50 a mile, and they're talking about they can guarantee you 3,000 miles a week. Okay, $1.50 a mile, 3,000 miles a week. And so if you do the math, right? If you do the math and stuff, then okay, it's 3,000 miles a week at $1.50 a mile. That's $4,500. That's $4,500 and stuff. And so, you know, now this is where the reality and stuff started to kick in about your expenses. Okay, this is where the reality is going to start kicking in with your expenses. Now, a lot of these contracts and stuff don't pay for empty miles, right? You're doing 3,000 miles, that's 3,000 miles paid. But, you know, to get to certain places or get certain spots, you know, it's not, everything is not perfect. You know, you're not going to be in one city. You don't have to do any kind of miles and stuff to get to the next place. You're going to have to drive, and when you have to drive, those miles and stuff are going to account to what your bottom line is. So they're only paying you $3,000 for the loaded miles, but the empty miles, you know, that's on you. So you might have, you might have deadhead and stuff. Again, another terminology that people don't understand what deadhead is. So, you know, deadhead, it means that where you are to where you have to go to pick up the load and stuff. And so, you know, that's you being empty. That's you being empty. So you have to account for those things and stuff, which again, they do not explain to you. Those empty miles, you don't get paid for them. So, you know, you're looking at 4,500 miles. No, you're looking at $4,500. And then now you're doing miles and stuff, right, that they don't pay you for, that you have to make up for and stuff, you know, in your settlements, again, which you don't understand. And so, you know, so when I say that your truck is doing 5.5 miles to the gallon, right? You know, because a lot of people sit there, look at their computer in their truck and saying, oh, well, man, hey, that's not it. You know, my truck is doing 7 miles to the gallon and stuff. You know, I don't do any kind of idling or nothing like that. I had APUs and all type of things equipped on my equipment, you know, so on and so forth. But, you know, again, the 5.5 account for the miles and stuff that you're not getting paid for. That's why I always use that. But people say you're not supposed to use it. But again, this is the reality of trucking that they don't tell you about. There's things and stuff, there's operation that you do that you don't get paid for and stuff. So I add those miles in. So if you're doing, but I'll give you 6 miles to the gallon. I'll give you 6 miles to the gallon and stuff, right? Or I'll give you 7 miles to the gallon, however you choose and stuff. So, you know, 7 miles to the gallon. All right, if you do 3,000 miles, then you're going to need about 500. You're going to need about 545 gallons of fuel. 545 gallons of fuel and stuff. You take that number right there, 545 gallons of fuel and stuff. And so how you come up with that number is that you do the 3,000 miles based upon what your truck and stuff is doing. So again, if your truck is doing 7 miles to the gallon, you know, if your truck doing 7 miles to the gallon and stuff, then, you know, you're going to need about 545 gallons of fuel to operate and stuff that week. So once you got that number there and stuff, you take that number, that 545 gallons of fuel, and you multiply that by the average of what you're paying and stuff, you know, right now. So, you know, the fuel discounts or whatever that if you are getting, or if you qualify, which again, you don't know because they don't tell you stuff about the fuel discounts and stuff and how it works, right? So you're looking at $2.90 a mile. So $2.90 a mile, $2.90 a gallon, and 545 gallons, that comes up to about $1,600. that comes up about $1,609 to be exact and stuff. So $1,600 dollars. So you take $1,600 out of 45, that leaves with 39. That leaves with 39 and stuff. So we eliminated the fuel. And stuff. So now you got internal expenses and stuff that you got to pay inside the company. So with your truck payment, with your tag, with all the other expenses stuff that's incurred in there, again, that you don't understand, that you're not familiar with, and they're not telling you about and stuff. Your expenses will come up again to another $1,500, $1,600. And so after everything's said and done, then you're looking at about $2,300. You're looking at about $2,300 and stuff. That's if you can clear that. I mean, that's how much you clear. So when you're looking at that, you're saying, okay, well, yeah, I can use that and stuff. And so you take $2,300, divide that by 52, and they'll leave you a little over 100,000. They'll leave you on 100,000, $119,000 in 52 weeks. So when you're looking at that and stuff, man, you work for a whole year. Say, well, yeah, I got what I needed now to go out here to start my own business and stuff. But the reality is that that's based upon a perfect scenario. That's based upon a perfect scenario and stuff. And the thing is that you're not gonna be doing 3,000 miles a week, because there are a lot of variables and stuff that goes on in the industry that they don't tell you about, that makes it almost impossible and stuff for you to do. If you're sitting there, you're low on hours, for instance. If you're low on hours and stuff, again, at 3,000, you're doing 3,000 miles a week. That's 428. That's 428 miles, right? That's something that's doable. That's 428 miles and stuff. But again, 428 miles. It's not predicted how much time and stuff is going to take you and stuff to do 428 miles. Because if you sit there, traffic jams, loading, unloading. There's a lot of other variables and stuff, man, that goes in the trucking industry that counts against your time. And if you don't have the time, then you can't move. Now, you can't move. If you can't move, you can't work. You can't work, that means you're not making any money, because your truck is sitting. So now, you went from a 7-day at 428 miles to now 5 days. Now 5 days and stuff. So you're talking about in 5 days, you're going to be doing 600 miles a day to make that 3,000 mile quota. It's just not going to happen. That's not the reality. And so, when you take these small examples and stuff into accountability, and the thing is that it gets deeper. It constantly gets deeper and stuff into the rabbit hole, to a point to where you're talking about being profitable. How? How are you talking about being profitable? How are you talking about moving towards opening up your own business? Opening up your own business stuff, where every week you got to get out here and stuff, you got to run, because you got expenses that you have to pay, right? Because in order for you to get paid, you got to first pay your expenses and stuff, and then you're already in the hole, so now you got to pay those expenses there on top of your regular expenses. And it's a compounding effect, which gets you to a point to where you're just not, you can't be profitable, because you're not making any money. And so when you're stuck in that position there and stuff, this is where all the illegal activity and stuff comes from. It's not from the fact that somebody's being greedy and saying, well, yeah, I'm making this consistently. You're not making any money at all. And so, you're not making any money at all. You're working, and you got expenses you have to pay. You have a family you got to provide for and stuff, and so on and so forth. Bills got to get paid. So, this is where you start doing things illegally, and you do things illegally, and then you get caught up. You're sitting there, you're driving. You're sitting there driving and stuff, call yourself sneaking a load or whatever, and then the unthinkable happens. It's like, it's not even your fault. Somebody else could have fell asleep behind the wheel and stuff, and they ran into you. So now you're under investigation. They're looking at your logbook and stuff like that. And they saying, well, hey, you operated, you're out of hours, and you're out of hours and stuff like that. If you're not making any money, then there are other expenses and stuff that go along with owning the truck or leasing the truck or whatever. You can't get these things. You got your tires and stuff, man, are inadequate. Your brakes, your drums. You got a lot of these things that you're not getting fixed on your equipment that led to equipment failure, which leads to a lot of your safety issues and stuff there and stuff. And so when people do a simple investigation, they can see, well, it's just if they had the money to get the things and stuff fixed, they would, but they just not making any money. So they can't buy tires and brakes, and they can't fix, they can't fix air leaks and oil leaks and all these other things and stuff, out of service violations, because the money's not there and stuff. And where the money is just not there because you're in the lease program. So I say again, I stand with AB5. I stand with the PRO Act. I hope that it does. The AB5 and stuff is it's a going stuff in California. So we can only look at that and see how it helps the economy and stuff. I feel that for a lot of the drivers and stuff that's over there, it's gonna help. It's gonna help them because now you're not misclassified. You either have to have your own authority, which I see a lot of people and stuff doing. They're getting their own authority and they're being successful and stuff because a lot of the endeavors and stuff that goes on, they have an understanding of the business. They have the understanding of the business and stuff, man. That's what you got to have in order to operate your own business. And then, of course, being a company driver, which, laws, rules, regulation, policy, and procedure are a lot of things and stuff that you're doing in the lease program. But, now it's a guaranteed pay thing because now, you're getting paid for services that you render. And the money that you make is not going towards paying expenses and none of that stuff there. You render the service, you render the service, you're compensated for the service. And so, a lot of the expenses and stuff like that, the companies, they can certainly handle it. They can certainly handle it and stuff like that because a lot of the money that they're making based upon their business is in order for them to operate that business itself. And so, there's no in-betweens now. There's no in-betweens and stuff. So, again, I'll go more into detail and stuff when I go live on Saturday. When I go live this Saturday and stuff, I'll go more into detail. But again, if you are against AB5, if you are against the PRO Act, then again, I'm definitely interested in hearing from you and say, well, okay, how is it profitable? How is it profitable? How's it profitable? How is it feasible for anyone that's in the lease program? And stuff, to get into these programs and say that, well, hey, I've been successful in this lease program and stuff for this amount of time right here. I've been over here at this company for X amount of years in the lease program, and this is where I'm successful. So again, I'm definitely interested in hearing from you guys and stuff. Those that are against AB5, those that are against the PRO Act. And again, I'm going more into deeper detail and stuff this Saturday to say why I urge people and stuff, to not even consider the lease program because, they say it's a few bad apples, but I mean, based upon every program I've seen and stuff, it's not a few bad apples and stuff, man. It's just, dude, it's bad all the way around. It's bad all the way around and stuff, man. There's no way you can get to the program and stuff and be successful and profitable. It's actually stagnating you from becoming a getting your own authority and stuff and becoming an own operator. So I'll end on that note there and stuff. This is your man right here, the one and only, that beautiful Rhode Island Red Rooster. My contact information is on my YouTube page. Feel free to text me first. Let me know who you are. Let me know what the subject matter is. As long as it's about trucking, we'll go ahead and go into constructive dialogue and stuff once I let you know and stuff, the free time and stuff that I have. And with that being said, as always, be safe, be easy, and peace out.